His verses, along with the spiritual poetry of Sufi saints, Hindu saints, and the Sikh Gurus, are inscribed in the Guru Granth Sahib, the Holy Scripture, which encompasses the essence of benevolence, the Sarbat da Bhala, of all, entailing universal brotherhood and peace. The essence of Guru Nanak's creed, the primary principle of his philosophy, is inscribed in the opening verse of the Sikh scripture, the Guru Granth Sahib, called the Mool Mantra, in which lies the very essence of the entire Holy Scripture. Mool, meaning the fundamental, and mantra, a word combining two roots, man for the mind and the tar, a tool that translates to a tool for the mind. The verses are a tool for the mind. In totality, the Mool Mantra is simply a fundamental tool for the mind that facilitates the provocation of one's thoughts. The Mool Mantra, the opening verse, declares the universal unity that is said in the verse, Ik Onkar, the one reality, Satnam, of name ever true and eternal, Karta Purakh, the prime doer, the creator, Nirbhav, fearless, Nirvair, without enmity, Akal Murat, of eternal form, Ajuni, without birth caused, Saibhang, self-existent and self-illuminating, Gur Prasad, known by the grace of the enlightened teacher. This is the most fundamental essence of Guru Nanak's teaching, the opening verse of the Guru Granth Sahib. Guru Nanak's affirmation of unity is through first word of the Mool Mantra, Ik, which translates by the numeral one. One cannot be two, one cannot be multitude. One is one. The number one, strategically placed in the opening verse of the Mool Mantra as the first letter of the Guru Granth Sahib, the scripture, represents the monastic belief system. Monism, as we call it, the philosophy that omnipresent light, higher power is embodied in all, in different forms. It's present in everyone. Through the one source, many forms originate. Guru Nanak reveals this reality through the verse, Suraj Eko, Rut Anek. The various seasons originate from the same sun. Nanak karte ke kete ves. O Nanak, in just the same way, the many forms originate from one creator. Guru Nanak, with the above thought, provokes to see beyond the fallacy of duality, to discern all beings as part of one ecosystem, one universe. The establishment of this truth would create no space for any hostility if we can understand the essence of one. Illusion of the mind translates into the five evils, what Guru Nanak talks about. Kam, the desire. Krodh, anger. Lobh, greed. Moh, attachment. And Ahankar, ego. These sprout from the perversions of the mind, identifying itself as a separate identity from the supreme entity. Guru Nanak, for him, the reason and purpose of human existence medians in unification as one, and in the union one experiences the universal bliss. As he says in profound words, Duji Maya Jagat Chit Vyas, the illusion of duality dwells in the consciousness of worldly beings. Kam, Krodh, Ahankar, Vinas, they are destroyed by desire, anger and ego. Duja Kavan Kahan Nahi Koi. Whom should I call the second when there is only one? Sab mein ek niranjan soi. The one immaculate entity is pervading in everyone. And this takes us to the concept of Sarbat da Bhala, the universal brotherhood. Benevolence for all is a foundation of universal brotherhood. It entails physical and spiritual well-being for and well-being of an individual and the society. in totality. As per Guru Nanak's tenets, there is an enormous significance on the spirit of sharing and service for others. It is an action of selfless service to uplift the spirit of happiness for one and all through the medium of emotional understanding, physical support, imparting spiritual knowledge, and monetary aid. Service is above self, combined with compassion and sacrifice. When one does good for others, in retrospect, does good to oneself. It receives good. In a world which is torn by narrow variances of belief systems, Guru Nanak propagates the expansion of consciousness, elimination of hatred, equal respect, and selfless service. It is through the consistent effort to harbor benevolence for all and universal brotherhood, the process of devotion is brought to perfection. He says, when gun kite bhagat na hui, without doing good to others, devotion remains imperfect. That is his essence. Peace is the essence of all beings and beliefs. As per Guru Nanak, realization of peace has two facets, one at an individual level and the other at a social level. At individual level, it spiritually elevates an individual to a state of equipoise, and at a social level, it creates a harmonious and non-violent society. Peace is the ethos of all belief systems, and harmony, a requirement for humanity. Myopia, under the influence of illusions, does not recognize this reality. Thus fancies power and destruction. Peace can only be realized through love, is what Guru Nanak endorsed in his verses. He says, Atam chine so tak bichare. One who understands his soul contemplates on the essence of reality. Such hirday, such prem nivas, whose heart is filled with truth and true love, Pranvat Nanak, Hum Taake Das. Pray Nanak, I am their servant. He is calling himself their servant. He says, Man re, kyon chhoote bin pyar? O mind, how can you be saved without love? Without offering love, there is no escape. Guru Nanak's thoughts are projected through his verses. They reveal his personality of passion, compassion, and a change maker. Analyzing the contemporary social and individual mindset of the environment during his times, Guru Nanak believed that an autonomous belief system could be a catalyst to bring peace and unity amongst people. A philosophy which is relevant in today's time too. As a spiritualist and an advocate, he did not remain silent and passive about the conditions prevalent in the society. He strongly raised a voice against tyranny by negating the exploiters from their position of authority to uplift the humble and the meek. His vision for both social and individual awareness was idealistic. He wanted to bring equality at all levels. His verses bear a profound message that universal peace can only exist in a comprehensive order. In a social structure where there is no place for hierarchical status that monopolizes the privileges and exploits the unprivileged, he says, Kar achar such sukh hoy. In living a righteous lifestyle, true peace is obtained. Looking past the social construct of gender identification influenced by the society, Guru Nanak recognized that complementing the feminine and masculine attributes are present and expressed in humans and in nature. Accepting and respecting these complementary characteristics creates a balanced environment, leading to peace and prosperity. The unity of both the feminine soul and the masculine mind as an equal allows the individual to gain equilibrium at individual and social level. Guru Nanak implies that in the inner depth of every woman there are male attributes, and in the inner depth of every man there are female attributes. Thus he says, Ape Purak, Ape hi Nari. You yourself are the male and you yourself are the female. The eminence of Guru Nanak's universal message of humanity is owed much to the tapestry of many languages he chose to include in his writings. 974 hymns written by Guru Nanak, composed in 19 rags, the musical classical compositions and melodies, are enshrined in the holy text of the Guru Granth Sahib, the Sikh scripture. His thoughtfulness to incorporate words used by common people adds to the richness of his verses. Furthermore, he beautifully rendered his poetry in the native music of different regions through the inclusion of diverse thoughts, various languages and forms of music under one umbrella. He induced connectivity through diversity. This noble path has his way to bring peace and harmony, which in turn had allowed and continues to allow his philosophy to access to people across all strata. Guru Nanak in his words says, Gand Pariti Mithe Bol. There is a bond between love and words of sweetness. Guru Nanak not only brought change through words alone, he endeavored to cement his philosophy into reality. He provided an egalitarian framework to the community through institutionalization of Sangha, the spiritual congregation, and Pangal, the social congregation. He introduced the socio-economic guidelines of Kirat Karo, honest earning, Naam Japo, intentional meditation, and One Chakko, selfless service. These three pillars of his philosophy encourage to approach life from a collectivist lens, which every individual strives for personal growth while contributing to the collective needs of the community through the concept of langar, the community kitchen, which we just heard about being taught at the conference in Barcelona, is the practical implementation of Guru Nanak's philosophy of universal brotherhood and peace. Food is the basic source to sustain life. When shared and partaken collectively, evokes feelings of empathy and unity, creating harmony. This practice of community kitchen brings together people of all backgrounds without the distinction of religion, caste, gender, economic status, or ethnicity. The institution of langar expresses the ethics of sharing, community building, inclusiveness, and oneness of all. The concept of divine life, as per Guru Nanak, was centered in the concept of service before self, an ethical foundation without which any form of spirituality would be a mere superficial exercise. As a selfless service, Guru Nanak decided to disseminate his knowledge by traveling and interacting. During his travels, he experienced varied perspectives, philosophies, and cultures. Guru Nanak, with his Muslim friend Bhai Mardana, traveled for more than 30 years in geographies far and wide. During his time of travel, the territories were fluid. Today, these are marked by boundaries as 9 sovereign nations: Sri Lanka, Iran, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Tibet, Iraq, Bangladesh, India, and Saudi Arabia. With a motive to gain and impart knowledge, he visited places of worship and congregations of different faiths to interact and have meaningful dialogues with spiritualists. Through his travels, he demonstrated that spiritual knowledge has no boundaries. The ultimate truth is in all religions and not limited to any specific one. He broke all barriers, social as well as geographical, instilling the universal spirit and benevolence for all, while spreading the message of universal brotherhood and peace. Guru Nanak inspired people to seek spiritual knowledge and emphasized that each one, irrespective of their social status, is entitled to freedom of thought. Universal brotherhood and peace are interdependent. Absence of knowledge on any one of these attributes causes disruption in the benefit of one comprehensive universe. Guru Nanak inspired people to seek spiritual knowledge and emphasized that each one, irrespective of their social status, is entitled to practice religion of their choice. In one of his verses, he describes this duty and knowledge of universality. He says, Vismad nar, Vismad Ved. Wonderful is the sound, wonderful is knowledge. Vismad Jia, Vismad Ved. Wonderful are the beings, wonderful are all species. Vismad Roop, Vismad Rang. Wonderful are the big forms, wonderful are all the colors. Vismad Pavan, Vismad Pani, Vismad Agni. Wonderful is the wind, wonderful is the water, wonderful is the fire. When intentions, words, and actions are aligned through the medium of benevolence for all, universal brotherhood and peace are accomplished. This verse, as a form of selfless prayer, is rendered daily by the followers of Guru Nanak and describes the beauty of the Creator and His creation and the concept of Sarbat da Bhala. Nanak naam chaddi kala, tere paane sarbat da bhala. Nanak, may all stay in high spirits through contemplation and through grace wish well for the entire universe. Thank you. Grazie davvero.